All right. So today is the day I get back into this game. Not the scum game, but just recording videos, I guess. It's been a while. So, I'm going to post this on probably the least popular thing that I have. But what we're going to talk about real quick is starting builds and also a little bit of base construction and gameplay from what I have gathered so far over the last couple weeks of experimentation, reviewing everything, min-maxing every single stat that I could, trying to make my character the best overall general character in the game. And I think I pretty much have nailed it right now. I doubt there's very much more that you can do. If you don't know me, back in the day, I played quite a few games. I did esports stuff in college uh, before esports basically became popular and yeah, league and all that stuff. I'm not going to say I'm the best gamer in the world, but I do like to think things out and at least try new things. I very I dislike metas and going into the same thing. So that being said, we're creating a meta. So what I'll show you starting out, we're going to go most of new character. We're going to do the most efficient build that I've come up with. So it's 2.5 strength, 2.5 constitution, 4 intelligence, and 3 dexterity. Okay. Now, when you look at this, you have the option to get one of these skills pretty much maxed out at the first of the game if you want. You can go rifles, you can go melee, handguns, archery. I do not care. This build is not specific to any sort of playstyle. It is the most efficient build for an overall general character development that I've been able to put together, and I think is probably the best you're going to be able to get. Me personally, I go for brawling, okay, because I know that I'm not going to use brawling very much, and brawling relies purely on your hands. One second. I don't know why the conceal mode wasn't on. That might get me removed. All right, so I know that brawling is going to be with my hands, and anytime I don't have a weapon, I would like my hands to at least be good. I know no one else takes brawling, so I'm going to be doing more damage with other people fighting me with brawling, okay? When melee weapons is basically what most people take. This is why I'm not really super concerned with melee weapons. One, different weapons have different ranges. Different weapons have different attack speeds. Different weapons have different damage values. So if someone has a katana, they're going to 2 or 3 hit somebody without needing any melee skill whatsoever. If someone has a spear, they're going to outreach someone with a knife. If someone has a sword, they're going to out DPS somebody that has, just a normal knife. All right. And that's, the melee weapons may be able to balance that out a little bit. However, if you're carrying a melee weapon, you're not going to be able to carry as much stuff as you can with having no weapons, and being able to defend yourself is pretty good. And also, I consider brawling, melee, and throwing to all be in the same category of hand-to-hand combat. Essentially, all of these require, I believe, fast movement speed. Your movement speed matters. The reason I don't care about fast movement speed with melee is because if I'm in a combat situation with somebody else with melee weapons, it's more about the movement speed than anything. They may be able to use a combo, but as long as I can move faster, they have to land the combo to do anything. If someone throws their melee weapon, then they no longer have any damage because they don't have any more melee weapons. All right. If I throw my melee weapon, I can still use my fists. Okay. And when you knock someone down with your fists, you can pull your weapon back out of them and then have your melee weapon again. So being able to be efficient with your stamina and also being able to block more efficiently, which increases your total health pool when you can actually block and negate quite a bit of the damage. From brawling, you can block like 60 to 80% of the damage, something like that. So even when you're fighting a puppet, you don't necessarily have to dodge. You can block it, take, 5 damage, and then return the favor right afterwards. But most people don't block in this game. All that's up to you. Conditioning, I go into running. You can go into endurance if you want endurance. I think, if you have enough food supply, you can run and level up your character perfectly fine with this and not really have to worry. I would say you eat a big meal, you drink some water and stuff before you leave your base, you bring an extra meal or something in your pouch when you're going. I do like endurance more than running, but I find running to be more efficient for me in the start of the game. Now, why 2.5 conditioning? Essentially, right here at 2.5 to 2.6 is where the running skill goes from 13% boost to 14% boost. All right. So the top is 15% boost. Now, you can go up to 14% boost, but you're going to be the exact same speed even if you take this point from dex. You'd have to put points from somewhere else to put it into dex. You could do that from strength if you want, but you're going to be behind on the strength game when it comes to brawling or something like that, considering you're going to be down a couple more points. It may not matter to you. It doesn't really matter exactly at the beginning, but totally leveling up every weapon skill, I would say that this is pretty important. Um, Now, Dex, we're going 3.0 in Dex. Dex increases movement speed, reload speeds, crafting stuff, eating items, all of that. It levels up decently well at the first of the game. Dex is a very good skill. Now, when we have 3 Dex combined with 2.5 Con, and this running skill that we have here, when you start the game, you're going to start with 29 kilometers per hour. If you have max conditioning, max running, and max dexterity, you will end up about 32 kilometers per hour, but you'll be weak in every other stat and intelligence and everything else. So it's not exactly worth it. For this, you're going to be right at the border of getting that 14% boost here, and with Dex, you're going to still have 29 movement speed at the very first of the game, which if you have max running and no Dex, it's going to be about 29 movement speed at the first of the game for you anyway. However, with this, you're going to start with 29. After about an hour or so of running around, you get zero point 0.7, zero point 0.6 on the conditioning level up, right? So about an hour or so, your running is going to not be able to pass 2.5. All right, at the first of the game, it's not going to level up at all. All right, but after an hour or so, you're going to go and it's going to start leveling up. Once you get that zero point 0.7 increase on your conditioning, your running skill is going to level up like normal. The more you run, it's just going to level up. It's not going to catch it unless you stop running, stop moving, and stuff for a very long, extended period of time. So about an hour or two into the game, your conditioning is going to go from 2.5 to 2.6. Then you're going to get that 1% boost to your movement speed, and you'll be at 30 kilometers an hour. So you'll essentially have the same movement speed as someone with max running, but you didn't waste any skill points out of dexterity or anything else here, right? So if you're concerned about movement speed, that right there, I believe, is the most efficient way to move and not waste any points. This also means that while someone else is over here trying to level their dexterity or whatever they want to do, they're not going to be able to get a lot of this done. Now, we go to the dexterity skills. You can put whatever you want in here. I do not care what you bring. My recommendation, though, what I will tell you from my experience playing on a few different PvP servers and everything else, testing things out, all of that. I'm not going to say that PvP combat is the most intense ever. However, I will say that I do really like stealth. And having zero stealth takes a very long time for me to grind up because I do not really AFK farm skills very much. All right. And so it's not super efficient to me. I would probably have an easier time leveling endurance or something because I can, auto run and get where I'm going. And I think that'd be fine. I don't mind walking and then going somewhere and like letting my skills take over. But for this, I go medium into thievery, medium into stealth. Now, I do like driving and all that and like throwing. So throwing is going to be part of my beginning of the game skill that I use. Demolition is pretty easy to level and I don't really care about bombs for the most part. I can level it a lot faster than thievery. From what I've noticed with thievery, I mean, you gain another second or so, or not breaking your item when you go to advanced. People tell me that you need advanced so that you can raid people's bases and whatnot and do kill boxes. From stuff I've read online, you can do kill boxes just fine with medium thievery. For my own personal test, I went and used medium thievery and I tested it out on all the different lock combinations. What I will say is the worse off locks, the crappy locks, the bobby pins, the regular lock picks. Uh, I can do the basic stuff with them fine. When I go to an advanced lock, I cannot pick an advanced lock with a crappy bobby pin. It does not work at all. But I noticed that if I have an advanced lock pick, then I can pick advanced locks with medium thievery, with average difficulty. It wasn't too bad. So basically, it took me like 6 to 8 to 10 tries or whatever to lock a lock pick. I think that would be perfectly fine for a kill box. It saves me a lot of potential, and it allows me to have this medium stealth. Because for me personally, I want to be relevant in PvP and I want to be relevant in PvE and base building. So with this, you're going to have the best of both worlds. I can still lock pick a car. I can still get into someone's base. It's going to be slightly more difficult, but it's not going to be that bad. Losing a second or so, it's not going to be the best option, but it's not going to be terrible. Me being stealthy, the way I look at it is stealth is good. I like it, but I do not crouch walk and stuff very often in the game, especially early into the game. And then when you have very heavy gear on, it's going to create more noise to make you get heard. Now, when I go and do a stealth mission and I'm going to be sneaking around, I'm probably going to be using, bow and arrow, throwing weapons, something a little bit more silent than normal. And in that case, I would probably just go ahead and wear light armor, light gear, which will help reduce my noise profile anyway. So medium stealth, I think, will be pretty good. A lot of people that I'm talking to on these servers are not actually running medium awareness. So I always thought that people would in PvP servers because it negates stealth and it negates camouflage, but that doesn't seem to be the case. And I don't really see many people run camouflage. I don't really see many people run stealth. A lot of them are just going to advanced thievery. And I think that thievery is somewhat of a skill that you can develop yourself over time, and you don't necessarily need advanced. Now, for intelligence, we're going medium awareness, medium survival, and then we're kind of going in the middle of the ground with engineering. Now, my thought on this is basically for me, okay, from my tests and from what I've seen, medium engineering is a sweet spot for most of everything that you need in the game, besides, concrete walls, advanced locks, things like that. My specific base building style does not require very high tier building materials. I prefer to use wood and the basic materials I can get a hold of very easily. Now, when I'm doing my base building, advanced locks would be good. I'm perfectly fine with iron locks. My system is not to let people get to my lock. I would like it to be very well defended before they even get to the lock in the first place, and so they don't really even want to risk taking one hit from a zapper. Okay, I would say that the having only one zapper instead of two or whatever kind of sucks, but I don't think it's only the biggest thing. Now, as it comes for advanced locks, you can buy advanced locks from the traders. You can find advanced locks in those drop boxes. You can find another player that has advanced engineering to build you the locks for it. You can raid a base and find advanced locks in the base. So I don't think it's going to be the biggest thing. Now, medical as well. I do like medical. Here's my thing with it though, okay? Advanced medical helps you not get infections, but you only really get infections if you get hit, and movement speed helps you not get hit. I do like being able to heal faster and everything, but these items can be found in bunkers and they can be bought from traders. So a tourniquet with no medical or max medical is still going to heal everything in one use, and it's like 2,000 or 4,000 or something for one of those. For the amount of speed that I have running on foot at the first of the game, I can run, grab a couple items, come back to the trading post, sell it, get a couple thousand. I can do that twice, maybe three times, and then be able to buy a tourniquet or something. So it's just going to be me having to prepare to go fight somebody and bring the medical items with me to make that happen. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, medium awareness, you could lower this, you could higher this, but I'm going to go off of the base stats that I've collected over the last couple weeks. Um, if you have no survival and you have max awareness, essentially it's going to take you 200 seconds or so to cut down a tree. which really slows down any base building progress you want to do. It won't be terrible, but it ain't going to be great. Also, with medium survival, you get access to advanced fortifications for housing. So, if you're not going to build a base directly off the bat, it allows you to fortify a building and then gather your supplies and then build your base. So, I think that is a very important thing to have. I think it'd be very good usage of your skills early. All right. Now, we're down a little bit on engineering. We want basic engineering, but you're going to have to build foundations and stuff anyway when you start building. And a lot of what I build is only in the basic tiers. So I'm perfectly fine leveling this up. You can see it's about halfway. So we need like 50,000 XP. So we're going to need to build walls and everything first before we even get to building a base. And we may build a small cabin, but that's part of the thing is that when we build, concrete walls have like 2000 something HP, wood walls like 200 or something HP. It's still going to take one C4 to bust through one wall. It takes multiple C4s to go through a concrete wall. But we have figured out that essentially, if you take foundations, you raise them off the ground, you're going to be able to make the foundations a wall. Each wood foundation has 3000 HP. And then depending on how you build it, most of the time people are going to be able to jump and pull themselves up over the ledge. However, if you take a wood palisade barricade thing, a wood those wood stakes, you can place it to where the points are directly to the edge of the wall, and then if they try to jump up, they won't be able to because it won't let them. And if they are able to jump and try to like force jump onto it, one of those stakes will hit them, take 50% of their life, and make them bleed out. That's a tremendous amount of defense. The spikes only have 700 or 600 HP, so that's not the best thing in the world. They will be able to get into your base, but it is a deterrent, and it will take a little bit of time for them to get in. For me personally, I do not build single layer walls. I go foundation, wall in the front, wall in the back, barricade, spike in the middle, and then I can put in filler in that gap if I want to behind the spike palisade, but it doesn't really matter. In front of the walls, I want barbed wire, so they're not going to be able to get close to the walls unless they blow up the barbed wire first. Maybe put barbed wire on the inside. I like active defenses. I like things that make people waste supplies and resources to get into my base. If your base is purely just flat walls and purely just locks. It's just a matter of time for someone to get in there. I want them to feel the punishment when they get into my base. So that is my particular base style. I am a solo player, so I will not have access to go and get all the gravel and everything else. I don't have all the knowledge to gather that up quickly. It's a lot of time and investment to put in resources. I think I would do that only for a garage, for a vehicle, and probably only if I get like a max squad of squad members. If I have 4 or 5 people helping me gather supplies, I don't mind doing that. You'll level up your engineering to advance pretty quick. Another reason why I don't really care for advanced engineering at the moment, even though it does reduce the cost of you building things by a little bit, it's mainly the more advanced tiers of things that it's decreasing the cost of, like the cement walls. And since I'm not building them, the cost isn't really that much higher for those wood material basics, right? And now the only thing that I'm getting at advanced is like the advanced lock pick or the advanced locks and crafting ammo, which would be nice, but it's crafting ammo. I'm perfectly fine just crafting shotgun ammo and using shotguns. Uh, and then you get the advanced, like the large log cabin. Now I've compared these: the small cabin, the medium cabin, and the large cabin all have 3000 HP. Now they all take a similar footprint, or not footprint, but they all take um, a similar sort of building supply ratio. The log cabin takes like 100 logs and something though. The medium cabin's like 50. The regular cabin's just a basic cabin. Now I see no point in getting a large cabin besides it being a status symbol or besides it giving elevation to shoot over walls in your base. This is particular because 3000 HP for a small cabin, but you have a one door, which is 2000 HP, right? So that's going to be some of the strongest things that you can get early game in your base. Now, when you get up to a medium cabin, it's 3000 HP for a cabin, and then you get two doors inside your base. So you're going to get two 2,000 doors, right? When you go up to a log cabin, it's still 3,000 HP on the base building. There's not really any advantage in windows or anything else. And you get basically a medium cabin with two doors, and then you have a stairway that goes up to a second floor. That, I mean, you could booby trap it. Maybe that would be the only reason I would use that second floor in a base, is if I would put booby traps on the stairwell and they would walk up the stairs and set them off. That's literally the only thing I could think of to do with the second floor in one of those buildings. But it takes way more room to build one of those. It takes way more HP. And from what I understand, taking out a foundation will destroy the log cabin. So, personally, what I'm trying to do is I want to put foundation walls to be able to block anyone from getting into my base on the outside. Two layer that. So, it's going to take them at least, I don't know, 6 or 7 C4 to get through that. I don't know exactly the numbers. All right. And then I want to put an exterior ring of cabins on the outside. And with medium cabins, I believe you can block off ladders with another cabin next to it. But that'll give another 3,000 HP barrier. And if they want to get into the doors, that's going to be, lock picks and time or explosives to get into there. So I need defenses to keep people out of the base. I need locks to keep them out of my stuff, and I need active defenses to keep them from getting into my things. And then I will build multiple shelters, and I'll probably only use one, or I'll stick my stuff in a very different spot. I like to misdirect people. If someone gets into my base and they see 5 medium log cabins, they don't know exactly which one is which. They're gonna have to guess or try to watch me and see where I go, but most likely I won't even have my stuff in the base. I prefer to have it like in a building next door or buried under a platform or something. So it should be pretty interesting what we're going to be able to do. I would say maybe bury your loot in the middle of your base and then cover it with like furniture or something inconspicuous. But okay, so why are we going medium survival, medium awareness? Very simply, to get awareness. First off, medium awareness is going to help us at the beginning of the game hunt animals, see people with basic camo or medium camo. It's going to help us hear people who have medium stealth or just normal stealth. So it's going to be good for PvP and PvE. Uh, it's going to take us under under 5 days of cutting trees to actually level this to max, which is perfect for me. Get that done in a week or so. Then survival with it at medium, it takes us about, I believe it was 140 seconds to level or to cut a tree down with survival, cut it down to all of its bits and pieces. That'll take me about 11 hours to level survival up to max. So this right here is going to be under 5 days. When I had survival maxed and this was 0, it would take me under 9 days or so to get this done. But with survival being able to be done in 2 days, it'll probably shave, I don't know, 4 days or something off of this. So we're going to be able to get this done in a week or so. We're going to get this done in a week or so. We're going to get this done in a week or so. So we'll be able to build our base. We'll be able to build all of our crafting items, have a compass at the beginning of the game. We're going to be able to hear people without advanced and stealth or something. We're going to be able to hear animals and things better. We're going to be able to see people with camouflage. We're going to be able to be quiet for the most part and not attract puppets. Now, the thing with stealth is that right now it's at medium. For me, when you go to like half of medium, when you get to about half between medium and advanced, that's kind of where the AI doesn't really hear you until you're right next to them. And then the rest of it doesn't really matter to me. But stealth, being able to keep AI in a distance from hearing me, I'm perfectly fine with, but I'm more or less going to use this for players. Thievery, being able to break into basic locks, being able to break into advanced locks with the right equipment. Everything right there seems pretty good. Driving, I do wish that I had more driving, but we can level this over time. It won't be the biggest thing. Demolition, we can level over time. Throwing, we can level over time. Aviation, I have not even found an airplane on a online server, to be honest. I haven't even seen one fly around, so That's going to be interesting. Medical, you can replace this with items. Speed helps you earn more money from traders, which you can use to buy medical items and building materials, etc. So I think this overall is the most balanced build that you can have for uh, servers or anything like that in this game. Now, building wise, personally, I do like building, but I want to kind of go over a little bit of what we're looking at here because when you do engineering at advanced, you take away basically like each level of engineering decreases your basic builds by like one toolbox and one uh like a couple of logs or sticks or something. Now, I do not want to build barbed wire or concrete or anything like that, especially at the beginning of the game, because it's going to take way too much time for me to actually get it all set up and ready to go. Where'd I spawn? Okay, so we're in A3. It's not exactly where I want to go, but we'll just go ahead and run from A3 to A0 where I want to be. I'm going to show you a couple of the things wrong. So we already got the compass, so we know west is that direction, or west is this direction, east is the other direction. What is that? I think we just go ahead and check that out real quick. But I will show you basically what I'm looking at when I'm starting all this off. Now, I do like stamina recovery. I think it's very important, but the movement speed is also very good. So if we go in here and we look at our movement speed, we are starting the game off at a max movement speed of 29.1. So in a couple hours, you can see me just jogging around. This right here is at 3.4, 3.3. This right here is low, so it's going to take a while for dexterity to level up compared to constitution. And then strength will level up a little bit faster than dexterity, but not as much as this. But the more weight that we get, the more strength and the more dexterity we will increase, but the less in conditioning. But when you're running like this, you're going to see it spike up like 1.5 to 1.7. Okay, and it's already increasing by a little bit. And if we go to our conditioning skill, our running right now is at 13%. We are still gaining XP. You see it right now? 666, 706, 708, 710, 712, 715. Because conditioning levels up fast enough to the level up your running skill directly at the first of the game. So you don't need exactly what you need. But here in a minute, this will turn into like 68%, and we will gain that 1% movement speed, and it'll increase. Now, let's look and see what we're doing here. Let's go ahead and find a couple rocks. Our consumption rate on food and water is going to be the big thing, but we have the ability to hear and hunt with the awareness skill. We have the speed to chase animals down, to run away from danger. We have the stealth to be able to sneak up on the animals, to sneak up on players, and we'll slowly be able to level camouflage over a period of time. Now, with this increased dexterity, like having a decent dexterity, it will allow us to kind of keep our crafting speed at least decent. And you can see right here, just like one item, we got 250 XP for survival there. And now we have 15 for awareness. And when we start crafting a base or something right off the bat, that means we're going to get more and more awareness. And we should be able to get more awareness than someone else that is building camouflage. But this affects everything that we do here. So if we go and find a bush, kind of dark, I can't hardly see. So we go find a bush and we cut this down and we get our basic stuff built. This stuff isn't taking very long to cut down. So our survival is going to increase more and more. While we're gathering this, I mean, it's going to become easier and easier. Right there, we got another 250 XP. So we're already well on our way to getting this leveled up. Engineering is at 50%, so we're going to need 50,000 XP to actually get engineering up, which shouldn't be too bad. But if you see, we already have access to medium fortifications. We have access to the raft. We have access to the small raft, the wheelbarrow, advanced fortifications, and then all these basic items here. I mean, the workbench is good, but we don't need it right now. We need the drill and everything else to build all of this anyway. We can find workbenches to work on it at the beginning. Improvise well is good in some situations, but not really needed all over. And we got to have a foundation and stuff to set this on anyway. All this other stuff here, practically useless. But then this log storage, I like this. I would use this. So one toolbox, 20 bolts, wooden planks, and they get shelf storage, which that's okay, but it's not the best thing in the world. This wood cabin here is the best 3000 XP or 3000 HP and has two doors and stuff. It's going to be 30 logs, 20 scrap, 10 toolboxes, and uh, 50 logs and 30 planks. But when you use this blueprint's going to be less based on our engineering. So we may lose like one toolbox off of this and a couple of supplies, but building this isn't terrible. And then once we hit medium, we're going to have like two toolboxes or something taken off and stuff of our other builds. But all the things that we're going to build at the beginning, this takes 5. It's going to go down to like 4 and then down to like 3. But that's not terrible. And these are the palisades that you use. It's one toolbox, some bolts and stuff. This doesn't decrease. The foundations will decrease, but these don't even take toolboxes or anything. This is just sticks and planks, which is really easy. So we can go down instantly, take an axe, start cutting trees and stuff, instantly start building walls for our base. And then we're going to have uh, foundations are going to be the main part that's going to take a lot of time. So you have to put a foundation down, then you're going to have to increase the foundation up, then build the foundations around. So we need the toolboxes to be able to build the foundations before we can start building. And when you look at a toolbox, you need a tool, the bolts, the nails, planks, and this. With our movement speed, we can go trade some stuff to the traders. You can buy 20 nails, 20 bolts for like 600 or something like cash. Tool wise, this right here, this wooden club, I believe is the best thing because the wooden club takes just an axe and a plank. So we can go cut down a bunch of trees, then cut all those planks into wooden clubs, store the wooden clubs, and then go and look at the toolbox. And we go buy, 20 bolts, 20 nails, get some more planks, some scrap metal. We make us like 20 toolboxes. We make a few platforms, and boom, we got a base going. Okay. But we need the storage capacity to hold all of that first. I've tried to keep moving a little bit just to keep this going, but we'll see what it's at. So still leveling up a little bit. It should hit there pretty soon. Cut down that tree and completely forgot to use any of the materials. So go ahead and find another thing to cut real quick. Dexterity will also help us eat food faster and everything else. But we're still going to be able to defend ourselves with no melee weapon right now. And then we're going to be able to throw spears to weaken somebody before they actually get to us. So I think we'll be fine here. But all of this is going to be a lot faster with medium survival at the first of the game. And then we need to make basic backpack. So we need rope and then some cloth. So if I did need to defend myself right now, I mean, there's a possibility that I would lose, but I still have my fists to defend myself with. I can still make spears. Spears at the first of the game, I can basically craft a bunch of improvised spears. I can hold 3 of them, and then I can essentially just go and take what would it be? I can hold 3. I can throw 3 of them at somebody, deal a decent bit of damage, and then go to finish them with my fists. And for the most part, that would work, especially versus zombies. But it's a little finicky with how they go. But the good thing with spears is that you can upgrade them fairly easy. So getting a metal spear will deal more as everything goes on. So all of that's pretty good. And once you get like a stone spear or a metal spear, you can take them back apart and reuse the sticks, which is good for like making campfires or anything else. compared to like bow and arrows. Now, when you make basic arrows, that's going to level up your survival as well. And then when you end up making all kinds of other things, it's it's going to be pretty nice. We'll go ahead and keep this stick. We'll go ahead and keep this rag. Um, what was I wanting to do here? I think I was wanting to make some bow. I think I was wanting to make a bow. Might as well. Let me let me look for some more rocks here for a second. We need to go east. So there's a wolf somewhere. I'm gonna go for this open plain over here, and then we'll try to rope around. Thought I saw a rock pile. All right, but this is the basic, pretty much starting best thing that you're going to be able to get at the beginning of the game. I think it's very well balanced. You're going to have combat abilities, you're going to have building abilities, you'll have a lot of movement speed. Everything that you pretty much need at the first of the game. You're not sacrificing anything. You can put things into any skill that you want if you want to be a specialist. So feel free to like and do whatever you want. I might start getting back into videos. It's been a few years. I basically stopped making anything after I went to college. And then once I came back from college, I just saw that the video game recording and streaming and everything just exploded. And you have to have such high quality to make videos and stuff good nowadays. And I don't have any of that knowledge or skill set, to be honest with you. But yeah, I'm gonna post this probably. I'll probably try and look up my old YouTube channel and everything and put it on there. But do got this other one that I built way back when. The Brain Gains was the new one. My old one, I don't know if it's still active or not, so I'll go and look that up and put it on there. And then we may post a video about some of the base building ideas that I can have, so I can show you a little bit later on. So stay tuned for